Welcome into the Cardinal Squad Show, and it's Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show, and a credentialed Arizona sports media member. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., Walter Nolan are all back at practice, but will they play?
Jamil Douglas, former NFL offensive lineman. If Kyler Murray does suit up, does that give the Cardinals the best chance to win versus the Packers?
Alex Clancy, Locked on Cardinals. Do the Cardinals need to win to save their season? Plain and simple. Let's get it.
Rise up, Red Sea. It's the Cardinals Squad. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What is up? Welcome back into the Cardinals Squad Show. Wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, thank you for making this show a part of your day. We got a lot of things to get into on this Thursday edition of the Cardinals Squad Show. Today's episode is brought to you by Crossover Thursdays, presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Fellas, it's a jam-packed show today. We got a lot of things to get into. The first thing is Kyler Murray, for the second straight day, has been limited in practice, and I think there's a couple of different avenues we should go down. One, if Kyler Murray is healthy, should he play? And also, like, the caveat of how healthy does Kyler Murray need to be to where he needs to be out there on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers? Clancy, I'll let you start us off.
If he's healthy, he's playing. Let's not twist anything. Everything is up for grabs going on for the rest of the season. Nobody's job is safe, and that's not to say that Jacoby Brissett couldn't give the Cardinals a better opportunity to win the game if Kyler Murray was 90% there, 85% there. I feel like if Kyler Murray was practicing with the ones, we would know that he was playing on Sunday. But if he's healthy, he's playing. And I don't know if that's the right thing or the wrong thing. He's the franchise quarterback until otherwise stated.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how healthy we're talking. Obviously, everyone, at this point in the season is starting to get bumps and bruises, and guys are playing hurt. Yes, like Clancy said, he is a starting quarterback for the Cardinals. So if he's, able to look good on Friday or tomorrow, then I guess he's going to start, and rightfully so. They paid him to do his job, and that's what he'll do. Do I think that it gives him the best chance to win? That's another story that we can save for later. But yeah, if he's healthy enough,
we're not saving that. We're not saving that for later. So let's just say, because we know he's hurt. He's not injured right now. From what the practice report says, we know he's hurt. He's limited. If Kyler's is a 90%, 85% Kyler Murray,
he's not.
Is that? You think he's worse than that?
Yeah, he was with the practice squad today. It's Thursday, 2 games before game day. That's the thing. If he's healthy, he's starting, but he's not healthy, so he won't be starting. The Jamil Douglas conversation is going to be awesome for Wednesday of next week if Jacoby Brissett puts up. Oh, it won't be next week, 2 weeks from now, and next week because they haven't got their bye. If they put up a bunch of points and keep it real with Green Bay with Jacoby Brissett, that's when you have the conversation. Should he be? Because we got to see it twice, right? I mean, new car smell one. We got to see it twice before having that conversation.
I guess you got to see it twice if this guy's never played in a big game before. But we know Jacoby's track record. Obviously, he hasn't won enough to be someone's starting quarterback. But I think in terms of allowing Kyler to get fully to whatever as close to 100% that he can, I would allow Jacoby to take this next game and see where it goes. See if we can be the underdogs and go shock the Packers. That's my mindset, at least. If this guy is practicing with the practice squad, he's not ready to play, because why would you have him with the practice squad?
Hey, so Jamil, if do you we know what they're saying in front of the media? Jonathan Gannon, he's the starting quarterback, probably the thing he should say, coach talk. Do you think behind closed doors, though, they're let's just let Kyler get healthy because we want to see what we have in Jacoby Brissett?
I don't know. It's tough, man, because we don't know
Okay.
we don't know the severity of the injury. That's the hardest thing, like we heard it's close to a Liz Frank type of
Midfoot.
deal. I think when you're thinking in terms of the type of quarterback Kyler Murray is, we're not going to see him this week. I just don't believe that he's going to play. I think that you play on it to, get Green Bay to prepare for Kyler Murray in case he does miraculously feel good Friday, Saturday. But being a mobile quarterback and having an injury to your midfoot is it's tough in terms of like it's going to turn him into a pocket guy, and I don't know that that's necessarily where you want to be with Kyler Murray right now.
Yeah, and plus they got their bye week next week. That's the biggest thing here. If they didn't have their bye week next week, we would maybe see him gutted through. Jacoby Brissett showed enough last week to where he's not completely inept, and Keaton Slovis doesn't have to start. Like, this is just the happenstance of the NFL. It seems that you go with who's healthy because he produced last week for the game, and you see what happens.
Clancy's saying, and using obviously inferences to see that Kyler Murray's practicing with the practice squad, that he's probably not going to play. Jamil, are you kind of set on the idea too that he's not playing?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see Kyler Murray this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all in agreement that it's probably going to be Jacoby Brissett. There was some other news with Kyler Murray this week. I thought this was definitely worth talking about. A couple of years ago, Bryce Butler, who played on the Cardinals for like 5 seconds, went after Kyler Murray, his maturity, his leadership, and there was some like, it's Bryce Butler. How much did he really play? How much was he? He wasn't really with the team for very long. There have been some. Patrick Peterson said nobody cares about Kyler Murray outside of Kyler Murray a couple of years ago. But he, kind of a scorned girlfriend there with the Patrick Peterson, the Cardinals dynamic. Now that's kind of came together. Andrew Whitworth, I don't think it's crazy to say a very respected offensive lineman, probably a potential Hall of Famer in Andrew Whitworth, came out and had some choice words to say about Kyler. He had nothing to say about his skill. In fact, the quote was, "I'm not bagging on him as a football player. I'm bagging on him as a leader." He cited the Emari DeMercado, fumble before the end zone. And he said, why is it Paris Johnson, consoling Emari DeMercado? Jamil, this is kind of for you. What was your reaction to Andrew Whitworth kind of coming out and going after Kyler Murray's leadership a little bit?
Yeah, I think, when you hear something once or twice, you kind of give someone the benefit of the doubt in terms of, people saying Kyler Murray may be or may not be the best leader. And typically it leans on may not be the best leader. This has been years in the making that we've been hearing this about Kyler, and it's from people that you wouldn't normally they don't really talk bad about other people. And so it must be a glaring issue in terms of his leadership style. I will say this, like, we don't always get, you don't always have to be a rah-rah guy in order to be considered a leader, right? Like, a lot of guys get their respect off of their play style, the way they go about their business. Obviously winning is something that you get your respect through, but I agree in terms of you would like to see Kyler Murray going over to an Emari DeMercado in that situation. But on the flip side of it, I'll say this: a lot of running backs love their offensive linemen and vice versa. So that is a normal interaction when your running back is going through something, to be the first to go over there because you have that special bond. I just don't think that we've heard enough good things about Kyler Murray's leadership style. And so I think that's what this team is missing, man. I think, as a quarterback, you almost get thrusted into that position of being the guy when things are going wrong, and we don't get that from him. So I agree with what he's saying. I don't think it's a knock on the football player, but I don't think that he has that leadership trait that we're accustomed to seeing quarterbacks have.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew Whitworth has played against Kyler, and obviously not on the same field at the same time, but I mean, the Rams have a very intimate relationship with Kyler Murray over the last 7 years. I think more than Seattle, more than San Francisco, because the Cardinals have beat Seattle. They beat San Francisco. They haven't beat the Rams. They just don't beat the Rams outside of week 2 of last year. I think a couple years ago they got a dub also. But let me ask you this, and I know how irrational this sounds, and I guess this is for Jamil first, but does it matter how good of a leader your quarterback is if you're winning? Like, does leadership yield victories? The problem is everybody looks at Baker Mayfield now and it's like, oh, wait, he's changed. He's this new guy. He's the same dude. He's just winning.
He's the same dude. But I'll say this.
He's always been a great leader. I'm not comparing that. He's always been. People would run through brick walls for that cat.
100%. And I'll say that that's why I said, like, guys get their leadership across in different ways. With Baker Mayfield, I think people assume that he's this leader, which he is based off of his play style and how you see him going at other people in a competitive nature. I don't know that we see that enough from Kyler. And so it's like, okay, if you're not a vocal leader, is it your play style that people gravitate to? Because you can, I know the Bills just had a tough one against Atlanta, but people gravitate to Josh Allen because of his daring play style and the juice that he brings to the Bills. I guess, what would you lean on in terms of Kyler Murray's leadership trait? Like, what would you say that is? That's the hard part for me.
What would you say it is? What would you lean on? It doesn't feel like you're kind of being able to hang your hat anywhere. And I'm not asking you to, to go after Kyler, but like from what you've seen, what do you think it could be? As I'm having trouble with it too. Clancy?
I don't know. I mean, it's not like to say that the people don't like Kyler Murray, I think is not correct. I just think that's incorrect. Yeah. Now, Patrick Peterson being the petty guy that he is, for those that don't know, petty Patrick Peterson started on Locked On Cardinals. Thank you very much. I don't care what Patrick Peterson has to say. He cheated and then he asked to be traded twice, so I don't really care what he has to say about the Arizona Cardinals at all. With Chase Edmonds, that was another one, but Chase and Kyler were buddies. Chase didn't have much bad things to say about Kyler. Like, I don't think that there's this huge conspiracy that Kyler Murray's not liked by people. So I have trouble dealing with that. He's not a bad dude. He seems like a very nice person. He's always very polite. Yeah, he's demonstrative on the sidelines in a different way than Tom Brady was yelling at people. Kyler just sits there and he pouts, and that's something that he probably needs to work on in his year 7, so it probably won't happen. I don't think that it matters nearly as much when you're so in the middle rung of everything and your play isn't going to be able to get you to where it needs to go. I don't care how great of a leader Josh Dobbs is. You ain't winning any games with Josh Dobbs. Like, Kyler's talent is his leadership.
Yeah. And I'll say this. I think he gets a knock also because of his stature. Because he's a smaller quarterback, I just feel like we nitpick a lot of the things about his capability of being dominant because his stature is small. I'll say this, I've heard that Joe Flacco is the absolute worst in terms of leadership. Like, he just comes in, does his job. He doesn't want to, I know in the past I've heard that he's not really there to mentor young guys and all of those things, but that's just kind of who he is. And, he's played a long time in the league. I don't know that we can force Kyler to be in a leadership role if he doesn't want to. I see somebody says Buddha is our leader. Yeah. There are other leaders on this team, it just so happens that that situation with Amari DeMercado, the defense can't come over and talk to a guy. They're now on the field. So there's other people that can step up. I just feel like, and the leader, James Conner is the leader on the offense, but he's out. Yeah. So it's just an interesting situation with the Cardinals.
Yeah, but shouldn't you be able to lean on your quarterback when these type of hard times are happening and this team has lost 4 straight games? What does a team do when they don't have their heartbeat in James Conner and they kind of don't have a quarterback that they can lean on emotionally and say, hey, man, we're here to battle for you? I mean, I think one of the biggest things last week is Jacoby Brissett continued to make play after play on the field that felt like players would appreciate that. Maybe I'm speaking for myself, Jamil, so chime in here, but felt like multiple times he hung in the pocket. Let me finish my point. Hung in the pocket multiple times, took hits. There was one where he was legitimately falling to the ground. He was parallel, dumped it off to I think it was Elijah Higgins who dumped it off. Like, it feels like those type of things as well, players will run through a brick wall for. But during these tough times, like, Kyler doesn't even do that. So what does a team do when they don't have a head of the snake?
Well,
how much can you equate that to the Cardinals' lack of success over the last couple of days or last couple of weeks?
I mean, you could say they lost their heartbeat of their offense in James Conner early on. Marv is not a vocal guy. Like, they don't have when you think in terms of the Arizona Cardinals offense, there is not a vocal leader from at least that I've seen. Like, I don't know who that guy is. Trey McBride gets his respect off the way he plays, and that he's gonna go run through a wall for the ball. Like, that's just what it does. I think Jacoby got his respect, obviously, from what he's done in the league, but hanging in there, taking tough hits and delivering shots down the field, like, that's just what it is. I really feel like this is like I don't know, man. It's hard for me to kind of pinpoint, like, should Kyler be a leader? Because I see other quarterbacks that aren't necessarily a leader, but their play speaks for itself. If Kyler's winning, we're not talking about this. We're not talking about his leadership abilities, and him being a leader isn't going to change outcomes of games, I don't think.
Yeah. If Jacoby Brissett laid an egg, you wouldn't be saying, oh, they appreciate him more. They played better. That's the only difference. And Kyler Murray's respect is gained from, I can't remember what game it was. I think it was the Carolina. No, it was a home game where he ran around in the backfield and wizard-like ran and scampered for 30 yards. That's the respect that he has. That's what he gets because he's 5'10" and Jacoby Brissett is a brick house. Like, you can't compare the two stature-wise. And Kyler Murray never had a chance because even before the draft on the Dan Patrick Show, he didn't talk. Like, the thought of him going into the draft was like, oh, this kid doesn't even want to play football. So for people who still see him in a disrespectful manner or whatever it is, or have any sort of reason to explain as to why the Cardinals are where they are because of him, that was a preconceived idea before the draft even started. You picked your side of Kyler Murray before the draft even started. And everything is confirmation bias one way or the other. So this is just another variation of that. This time it's coming from the Super Bowl champ who embarrassed the Cardinals in their lone playoff game with Kyler Murray in 2021.
Let's jump over to a kind of a preview of the Green Bay Packers game in the next segment. What's at stake, and does this determine if the Arizona Cardinals should be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? Let's talk about that next. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint Mobile makes it simple. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contact. Listen, some of the things about Mint Mobile, I just love the fact you're getting the same quality and service you've had before, but for a fraction of the price. So we're ready to say yes to saying no. Make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on a limited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. So Clancy came up with this in the pre-show discussion. I thought it was really interesting because I think some people might have already checked out of this, but the Arizona Cardinals, they're not even close to being mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. We're a long way from Sunday. You can still see a world where if the Cardinals win this week, go into the bye, they play well in Dallas always, then you're sitting at 4-4 through 9 weeks of the season, including the bye. If the Cardinals win this game or lose this game, will it determine if the season is, kind of effectively over? But even more than that, buyers or sellers at the deadline, Clancy?
So for those that don't know, the trade deadline is the day after the Cardinals' Week 9 Monday night game against the Cowboys. So if they lose this game, maybe. If they lose in Dallas, that's the one where it's going to be like, okay, if they're 2-6, are they trading away players? Now, I don't know what that looks like because they don't have many players to trade away that they would actually trade away. I don't think you're trading Budda Baker. I don't think you're obviously not trading Trey McBride, Paris Johnson Jr., Garrett Williams, all the young guys, Josh Sweat, Dalvin Tomlinson. You're not trading those guys. So the other side is, if they lose this week, are they spending draft capital on some dudes? Like, do you really think there's a world where you go after Breece Hall and you trade for a wide receiver? Like, hold on. But instead of just shutting it down because that's what we're supposed to say when trading for a running back, look at this. It's not just for this year. It's for the future also. So obviously you'd have to extend Breece Hall. Most likely that's not going to happen. He's probably going to go to Kansas City. But if you're not buyers, then you're going to be 2-7, 2-8, 2-9. Like, when does it stop if, things don't get better? So that's why I wanted to at least entertain it. But is there a chance that the Cardinals are actually sellers if they lose this game?
I think they've got at least one player that immediately sticks out to me. They kind of have a surplus here, Jalen Thompson. Like, I think that's a guy that a lot of other teams could use, and you could get, I think he's in his last year of his deal, a 4th-round pick for him, probably. A 5th-round pick for him. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah,
that's about right?
Yeah,
I think Jalen Thompson would be kind of interesting. Calais Campbell, I think they could. I mean, that would be a terrible thing to do. That would be a terrible thing.
Well, you're not
like he kind of does fit the
sense.
mold.
It doesn't make any sense.
What are you going to get? Like, who's going to give up something for? Not to say that he's like.
No, he's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good
player. He wouldn't have come and signed here if he didn't. Yeah. If this isn't a Terrell Suggs thing where they cut him midway through the season after giving him $7 million and he goes to Kansas City and wins. That's crazy. That's not this.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's no one that I think the Cardinals would move off of that is like enticing enough. Like, you're not getting rid of a Trey McBride. You're not getting rid of who.
What about Zay Jones?
There's no market.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that there was a demand for Zay Jones. Like I don't know a team that needs a receiver that bad to say.
I'm gonna start giving you guys.
Yeah, please do. I don't know that.
What about Mac Wilson, who's been really good for this team?
They're not moving Mac Wilson. No, he's not tradable. Like, he's not good enough for the team to trade for him. He's good in this system. Really? Yeah, I don't think you're not trading for an off-ball linebacker at the trade deadline. You're trading for wide receivers. You're trading for edge rushers. Sometimes offensive linemen. You're trading for skill position players. Yeah,
I mean, I agree with you guys, but I'm thinking I'm legitimately thinking 6th, 5th round. But if you're saying like more that area, I think you're looking at, maybe a Dante Stills. I think Jalen Thompson fits in that realm. One of your guards, if you're out of it, like, I could see them moving.
So here's the thing. We got to look at it the other way. Which players on the Arizona Cardinals team would teams trade for? It's not
that's
who the
what
Cardinals
I'm saying.
would give
yeah,
up.
That's what I'm saying.
It's who's got the we're getting way too deep into this. Like, should the Cardinals move off assets if other teams call if they lose this week?
And that's what I'm saying. What player is going to make another team immediately better that they're going to trade for that the Cardinals have right now? Like, they don't have a ton of guys that, like, this isn't the Philadelphia Eagles where you can just offload guys and, get something in return for them. I don't know. In terms of like the actual question, like, if the Cardinals go ahead and they lose this game, does it make them buyers or sellers? It's hard for me to decide if it makes them. I don't think it makes them sellers because I don't think that they're in that position. Buyers, it's a weird deal. I know Clancy said we're supposed to not. What we're supposed to say is they just chalk it up for the season, and that's the easy thing to say. I don't and we talked about this earlier before the season started. What makes the Cardinals immediately better? Is it a running back? Because I still think you're putting questions in terms of like
another guard.
I mean, you're not going to trade for a guard at the trade deadline. I mean, it's like, here's the thing. When it comes down to it, there's only one player who's tradable on this team, and it's Kyler Murray. I just don't think that that's something that they would do. I mean, like, the only thing is, and I just looked because I'm not a wizard, the dead cap hit is only $7 million. It's only $4 million more next year than what his cap hit would be. So if you want to really blow it up, that's the only thing that would happen. That's not going to happen. There's no world where anybody would trade for Kyler Murray midseason, plus pay him his freight, plus he's only got 2 years left on his deal. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But that would be the only, like, real, like, you really want to be sellers, ride with Jacoby Brissett and trade Kyler Murray. I just don't think it's going to happen. Obviously.
I get what you guys are saying. The Kyler Murray thing is interesting. I just don't think it would happen. I do think if this team loses this week, Jalen Thompson will get traded. I do think he can help someone, especially in the back end. Like they wouldn't trade in division, but like the Rams could use a guy. The Eagles could definitely use a back end guy, someone that they can help in coverage a little bit. But that would be it.
I mean,
but here's the more interesting question.
The roster. Like, they've been playing 3 safety sets because they don't have enough corners.
That's what I'm saying.
But at that point, but at that point, if you're 2-6, writing's on the wall. Does it, like, I'm not
sure. You have to put out the best product every week. It doesn't matter. There are teams that are like, you think the Jets are not playing they're going to trade their guys they absolutely need because they don't have a deep enough roster, deep enough guys on that with that roster, with that position. Sorry. Like, these people, every single person in the NFL is, takes pride in what they do every week. So it's like, if you trade somebody, well, the Cardinals don't need to win. It's like, well, you still need to field a roster. So, I mean, the defense has been, by and large, good this year. But I don't know. I just Jalen Thompson doesn't have the pop, I don't think.
Yeah, let's reverse that then. What if the Cardinals win? Do they start making deals? They feel like, I mean, you feel really good about Dallas. You match up really well with them. Feels like every time you play them, you beat them. Let's just say that that's a win. That's going to be a tough game. It's a really good offense, but let's say it's a win. Then you're 4-4. You feel good about yourself, but let's say that they win this game. You guys think that they're buyers?
So, Jamil, before you answer that, you've been on a handful of teams, and you went through a handful, but you went through 7 trade deadlines. Was there ever a time that a team that you were on traded for somebody that got that to that next step, which is what the intent was to make the trade? I don't know if there were many.
No.
Was there ever a splash made at the trade deadline or around it on a team you can remember? Not to put you on the spot.
No, I've never been in a situation where that's crazy. Like, I've never thought of it like that. I've never been in a situation where we made a splash trade that I can think of, man. Emmanuel Sanders, I believe I don't know if he got traded or the receiver
what team was that?
It was when I was with Buffalo. I don't know that he got traded or they picked him up and free. I can't remember. But no, there's never been like I've never experienced that. I don't think if they win this game, I think the Cardinals go business as usual. It like, hey, we're just going to ride into our bye week, get as healthy as we can, and re-up for our second half of the season. Like, I don't think that they're looking at it in terms of like, all right, we win this game, we got to go get someone to help us. Like, no, I just don't think that it's that deep. So
isn't that a problem then? Like, let me push the envelope a little bit. If they win this game, like, that kind of is like oh, wow, all right, maybe they're not as bad as we think they are. They get in the bye week, they get healthy, we see where they're at with Dallas. Shouldn't they feel some pressure to do something?
Why? Why though?
Even if this team wasn't going to make the playoffs, like I'm not sure Clancy had them in the playoffs, but I know he had them at like either 10 or 9 wins, like a very competent team. Like, we can buy that, right? They win 10 games, they win 9 games, they just missed the playoffs, something weird happens. We could buy that. If they are downright incompetent again and they win 5-6 games, like, then we really are talking about Monty, JG, the OC, whether we like it or not. I think we're talking about it. Shouldn't they feel some pressure to, make a run at the playoffs? And I think the easy position right away is running back. Like, even when Trey Benson was in there, like, I didn't see anything that was like, that's RB1 for the next 5 years. So I would think that they'd feel some pressure to do so, even if I don't agree with it.
I don't think so, Ben. I think, all right, well, yeah, what, you want to bring Breece Hall into the mix?
Like,
it depends what it costs. But
so if they beat Green Bay, there's probably, unless somebody comes to them or unless Monty Osborne answers the phone and like, hey, you want to give a third for something or whatever for a fill or something. But put it this way. If they beat Green Bay, they're 3-4 and their 4 losses are by a combined 9 points. So how, with all of the injuries that they have, with all of the injuries, all of the people that are on the shelf, the majority of whom will be able to come back this year outside of James Conner. Like, that's even more of a fact. And I didn't know that I was going to think this until right now. Like, you're either the best 2-5 team or the worst 3-4 team in the league if the Cardinals win. Like, we don't know if the Cardinals are the best worst team, the best bad team, or the worst good team in the league. We don't know. So, yeah, I mean, if they win, 4 losses, combined 9 points going to the bye week, Kyler Murray's coming back, let's rip. Like, I don't see, as Jamil astutely said, like, I don't see one player, irrespective of who it is, elevating this team to a level they need to be to push. Either they will or they won't. Right?
Yeah, that's how I see it. I don't see that they're in a space where it's like, all right, let's go get this guy. This is going to get us over the hump. If the Cardinals were a team that leaned on their run game, game in, game out, I could say, yeah, all right, go try to get a Breece Hall or someone like that. But the Cardinals are not that. They don't lean on their run game. They're
not anymore.
Well, yeah, but even then, like, Trey McBride's touching the ball more than the majority of other guys are, so I don't see this as a team that is going to be shopping for someone to make them better if they win this game.
Right.
That's interesting. All right, well, let's start previewing that Packers game. God, Micah Parsons versus the Cardinals offensive line. The Cardinals potentially last stand potentially this weekend. How are the Packers, down still? Jaden Reed. We'll talk about all that. The Jordan Love, Jacoby Brissett difference at quarterback, and we'll do it all next. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Built. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by turning your rent payments into real rewards you can actually use. When you pay rent through Built, you earn flexible points that can be redeemed toward hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around your entire neighborhood. Listen, one of the reasons why you just would love using Built is, I mean, come on now. I've been in an apartment for how long? And you're telling me that I could have spent money at the same time that I was going to spend, but also get something for it. And as someone like myself who travels fairly frequently, listen, I'm always looking for my next Uber or Lyft ride or find out which hotel or airline I'm staying at. So listen, use Built from paying your rent. And that might be something you could turn your reward or your rent into rewards. So turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to jointbuilt.com/LockedOnNFL. That's joinbilt.com/LockedOnNFL. Make sure to use the link so they know we sent you. All right. Keeping the show rolling, the Arizona Cardinals, they've got the Green Bay Packers this weekend. Maybe their toughest test of the season so far. The Packers have kind of done a little bit of this. They go in, they dominate a team of the Commanders, then they kind of, they tie with the Cowboys or they lose a game to the Browns that maybe they should have won. Where do you guys want to start? I guess we'll just say right here, like, what's the first thing you're looking at? The Cardinals will win this game if, Clancy?
I mean, if Jacoby Brissett can have time to throw the ball down the field. Like, if he throws for over 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns, I think the Cardinals could win this game. Like, they've got to be able to score. And like, the Packers have given up points. Like, this isn't a team that was like, oh, this is going to be the best team this is the 2001 Ravens, like after week 1 against Detroit. Like, they've lost pretty ugly a couple times, or they lost ugly and then they tied ugly. it's just got to be a competent offense. I mean, that's really what it is. It's got to be competent. I mean, there's some things that they need to focus on defense, but by and large, if they can put up 25 points, they're going to be in contention in this game.
Yeah, I think sorry, I was just writing a couple of things down. I think this is a game that the Cardinals can actually win in terms of we watched the Packers play the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a bottom 5 defense in the NFL. You know, I know the Cowboys can score in a flurry. They can put up 40, but they also have a terrible defense right now. So the Cardinals don't have that. The Cardinals have a defense that can travel, that can play, that can create turnovers, that can defend the run. And like I said last week, the Packers are not the team that has the foot on your neck mentality. We've seen, you know, them have games where we think they should win decisively and they don't win. I think the key for the Cardinals is extending drives, like, you know, not having a ton. Obviously, you got to take care of the football, but not having a ton of drives where it's 3 and out, or, you know, you have turnovers and things like that, because then the game won't be close. But if you can keep the Packers off the field and minimize the amount of opportunities they have to air it out, I really think, and this is speaking with Jacoby Brissett in the lineup, I really think that the Cardinals have a chance to win this game, and it would be huge for them to if they play like they did versus the Colts, this would be a huge game for them to come out on top.
I think immediately I'm looking at the offensive line, and I want to ask Jamil about Micah Parsons, but I think the biggest thing is, like, they've got Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons at either end. Paris Johnson Jr., I think, is one of the best left tackles in the league, quietly having a really, really nice season. He goes up against Micah Parsons. He goes up against Rashawn Gary. I'm going to feel fairly good about that for Jacoby Brissett. But Jonah Williams has been spotty, to say the least. He's going to get matched up with Micah. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some at times where they're going to chip. They're going to throw Michael Carter at him, which will be kind of funny. But I don't know if you've ever played against Micah Parsons, Jamil, but how do you stop that guy?
I haven't played against Micah Parsons, but I played against some pretty good rushers on the interior, and it's a combination of things. Like, obviously, you're a pro, right? When you have to be able to win your one-on-one when it gets called. Within that, though, you hope that this game isn't a game where the Cardinals get down and the Packers can just pin their ears back and rush the passer, because now everything is off the table. There is no bluffing or anything like that. Like, there's nothing you can do in terms of, like, protecting your tackle or helping your tackle out. So I think from an offensive coordinator standpoint, you'd be silly not to give this guy multiple different looks and, send a tight end sifting across the formation the first couple plays just to get him thinking about his knees early on, and have the chips and different things like that. You have to do that as an offensive coordinator. You can't just say, unless you have a Trent Williams or, a Penei Sewell or someone like that, you can't just say it's our guy versus your guy in terms of what your pass protection has looked like. So hopefully there is some of that, because I do think that'll be helpful for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of scheming against it. I mean, it's easy for me to say. I mean, we saw a lot of throws that got thrown out super early last week. There was one to Marv before he went out. There was a couple wide receiver screens, little bubble screens. I mean, you can use Greg Dortch in the slot, just, two-step drop and just put it on him, 5-yard slant, things like that. Trey McBride, Elijah Higgins, like, they've got – I mean, we've seen it all year. There's plenty of movement around the line of scrimmage and a couple yards ahead of it. Like, I think Drew Petzing will have a plan, regardless of what people think about Drew Petzing, what I've thought about Drew Petzing. If he puts together the game plan that we saw last week and it works again like it did last week, we're going to be having Kyler Murray conversations and not Drew Petzing conversations. Okay? Mm-hmm. So if I trust that they'll be able to figure it out in some capacity. In the run game, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. I know Micah can do both, but I really think this is going to be 45 passes. And as Jamil said, you don't want to go down 14-0 early with like an interception score or whatever, a score and then an interception and a score, things like that, because the Cardinals do not have the ability to keep pace with the Packers team. Even though, like, with the Packers jumping onto the other side with the Cardinals playing defense, which is going to be important also, they've got a bunch of B- wide receivers. Romeo Dobbs is probably a B. But, like, Dontavian Wicks is B-. Matthew Golden's a rookie. He showed flashes. The thing that the player that terrifies me, aside from Josh Jacobs, who's probably going to have 25-plus carries, over 120 yards, and a couple of touchdowns, like, that's where they're going to get beat. Tucker Kraft is somebody that's, like, he's one of the most understated entities in football because he was hurt. And then Luke Musgrave got drafted around the same time. But Tucker Kraft is where the bread is buttered, especially around the goal line. So those two guys. I mean, but Josh Jacobs, like, could eclipse what we saw last week from Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. I also, like, I don't want to leave all those things. I don't want to leave the defensive side of the ball really quick because I want to mention this as well, because I'm making it out to be the defense is like an elite defense. The Packers defense is in yards given up a game. They're bottom third in the NFL just from my quick eye test looking at it. I think this is also a game for Marvin Harrison Jr. to kind of get going, because as Clancy mentioned as well, like the weapons battle, I understand Tucker Kraft is awesome. He's no Trey McBride. And then on the wide receiver front, the Cardinals got better wide receivers or the same as the Green Bay Packers, and then running backs. Yeah. So like the weapons thing, like it's about equal. They've got a little bit of the better quarterback. Like, let's finally see what Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like with a guy that's seems like maybe he'll throw the ball over the middle a little bit and get out in some one-on-one coverages. Again, maybe some crosser routes, put him in motion, like something to look a little bit more creative like we saw last week. Take advantage of this Green Bay Packers team that doesn't have Jair Alexander anymore, that has kid from the Giants years ago, whose name I can't remember, led the league in interceptions last year. They've got that, and that's it. So, like, offensive side of it, like, I don't think it's a steep drop-off from Kyler to Jacoby, and I think Jacoby can do what he did last week, and if they do that, like, the Cardinals do have a chance to win this game.
Yeah. No, they definitely have a chance. I think yeah. I mean, you know, the Packers fans travel, so we'll see what that looks like from in terms of you know, what it looks like in the crowd. But I feel like this isn't one of those you know, the Cardinals are playing with house money in this game. It's like, all right, we're feeling, obviously we lost last week to a really good Colts team. I think the Colts are legit, but like, we moved the ball, we put points on the board. You know, in terms of our defense played well. It just, we didn't get the stops that we needed to end the game. The Cardinals can come out and win this game. Like, this is not one of those games where it's like this will be a blowout. Like, I don't think that. I just think if it goes one way, it'll be bad for the Cardinals. If you turn over the ball and you have a ton of 3-and-outs and you give the Packers a ton of opportunities, it's going to be a 14-point deficit early on. And that's what they can do. They gotta come out and they gotta be efficient on offense.
And then one thing before, you know, it turns into Lambeau Field West on Sunday, like, realize that people fly out to games in Arizona because it's so much nicer here than it is where they live weather-wise. So you can enjoy that. When the Cardinals are suffering because they have no home field advantage, understand that you're living in the right spot for the next 7 months or 6 monts. Okay, so
it's probably cheaper tickets too, honestly.
Take that home with you. Take that home with you. I mean, well, plane flights and all that stuff. I mean, you can't get into Lambeau.
Yeah. Also, Green Bay, it's probably a higher ticket now this week because it's a prestigious team.
Potentially. I mean, I mean, listen, just take it because you get to see the sun more than they do, so they come out and see it. With that said, like, first of all, Jordan Love is exponentially a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett. So it's not just a little bit better. Jordan Love is a fringe top 5 quarterback in this league when he's got everything
very high.
For sure, dude. Like, he's not like he was
he's a really good player, yeah.
I mean, he's just, if the offensive line gives him time. I was talking with Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers. We did a crossover yesterday. Yeah. He's like quarterback EPA without being pressured, he is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's the number 1 quarterback in the NFL. When he's being blitzed, he's the number 1 quarterback in the NFL. But when he's being pressured, which is different, He's, I think, 27th or something like that. So, like, Jordan Love is numbers-wise very, very good this year. And they've got a lot of B-level wide receivers. A great quarterback elevates them to B+, A-. So the Cardinals secondary is going to have their work cut out for them. I think this is going to be a really tough test for Drew Petzing to control the clock while having to throw the ball a lot, because you're not able to run the ball and control the clock like Green Bay most definitely will with Josh Jacobs.
With all that being said, with Jordan Love, yes, I think he's definitely a top 10 guy. I think he's probably in the top 8. But he does throw the occasional boneheaded interception. And the Cardinals have the defensive back bandwidth. I mean, last week I felt like, it could have caught a couple more interceptions, but they could make him pay for making one bad decision. And that's what could flip this game. If Jacoby Brissett takes care of the ball, scores, 20 points, and the Cardinals have 3 turnovers, 2 turnovers, probably more like it, a fumble, maybe an interception, something that swings the game, like the Cardinals can win this game. Why'd you look at me like that?
Those aliens in the seats, baby. That's another one.
Stop it.
If they turn Jordan Love over 6 times, I can almost guarantee they're going to score 20 points.
It's crazy. It's crazy. If they did turn over the ball 3 times, it would not surprise you if the Packers still won, because their offensive firepower is just that much better from the quarterback position than the Cardinals have right now. And their offensive line is just way better too, but their offensive lines are always good.
Yeah, I mean, he'll give you a couple picks,
Yeah, I don't know about a couple, but he will throw a boneheaded interception.
For sure.
He does that.
For sure.
That's what lost in the 49er game in the playoffs years ago. Threw a bad boneheaded interception.
For sure.
Let's want to talk about he was like in high school too? That was his first year starting.
Yeah.
Okay, that was his 3rd year in the league. I think 3rd year. Right? Yeah. 3rd year in the league?
I don't know.
That would have been his 3rd year, I'm pretty sure.
On Packers, I don't know.
Yeah, well, next time we'll ask Peter Bukowski to join us and we'll do that. But anyway, with that being said, let's move over to the prediction side of it. Something tells me Jamil's going to give us a score and not tell us a name. Clancy's going to tell us the Cardinals are going to win again. And I'll probably be wrong on something, but let's do it. And let's talk about it next. First, today's show is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breath work, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. Like our players, we split every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Closing out the show, let's get into the prediction side of it, guys. And let's start with Jamil. We talked about what if the Cardinals can win this game. You said you kind of agree with me. They could. Jamil,
yeah.
Talk to us. What do you have the Cardinals doing? And please give us a team this time for who wins.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see Jacoby play this Sunday, and I think that the Cardinals will play well, but I don't know that they'll play well enough. So I am going to say 27-17.
Okay. So you got the Packers covering. It's 6.5 for those curious.
I didn't even know that.
Well, we know what you were doing during the time when you were playing.
Listen, I didn't know none of that.
Why do you try to get the police called on?
He tried. But yeah, I'm gonna say. See, I didn't even know what the spread. What is the spread?
6.5.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty good for the Cardinals.
Well, you have to remember they're at home.
Yeah,
they're at home.
They count for 3 more points for a home game, so it's really not.
Let me see if it's changed. Let me see if it's changed from the lovely folks over at FanDuel.
Well, listen, regardless of what the spread is, I think the Cardinals will play well. I think we'll see a good showing from Jacoby, but I do think that the Packers, they air it out a bunch. They're gonna their run game. If the Cardinals can stop the run game, my prediction could be wrong, but I think they're gonna Josh Jacobs is gonna have probably 2 touchdowns or so, and they'll do what they need to do. So 27-17.
Yeah, a lot of this rides on if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play this week. We have absolutely zero idea if he's going to play this week. There's no indicator one way or the other. So, having said that, they did huck it down the second half without him. Michael Wilson played well. Greg Dortch got involved. I think it's going to be a carbon copy of last week. Like, I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be one-score game here and there, but inevitably, I think the Packers win. Like, if it's the exact same flow of last week, I wouldn't be surprised. With Jonathan Taylor, I think Josh Jacobs will be, as we said, and as we said on the show going into the week last week, it was pass first half, run second half, and that's exactly what it was. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a mix-up throughout the game, but it's going to be about the same game script. What's the over-under? Do you know?
I'll grab it right now.
Going to hit here. I think it'll be close to
44.5.
Yeah, I think the over is going to smash. I think the Cardinals will score some points. I think Green Bay will score more points.
Betting the under is always bad for your health anyways. Bet the over all the time, regardless of what it looks like.
Okay, that's we don't condone we're not sharp bettors here, so maybe don't listen to what Ben says.
He's probably right. Okay. So a lot of the things you guys mentioned are really, really insightful. It's smart. I would agree with a lot of it, but you guys told on yourselves a little bit. You guys both showed me you guys have not been watching this team for 20 years like I have. Now you guys have all the statistics right. You guys are making a lot of sense, but this is just one of those stupid games of watching the Cardinals since I was a kid that they win. Just when you think they're out, just when you think that they're dead, they kind of kick their leg a little bit, almost like a cockroach. Like you step on it once, it's still kind of moving. You walk away, you think it's done, and then you come back an hour later, it's still kind of moving. I agree with everything you guys are saying, but I think the Cardinals, very similar to last year when they lost to the Commanders, and I think they had one win on the season. They came off back-to-back losses to the Commanders and the Lions, and they went on the road to San Francisco, and I said they're going to win this game because it feels like a game the Cardinals win. The Packers have the better quarterback. They have probably the better head coach and the better offensive line and the better running back. They're at home. They've got some demons that I think they need to rectify with the Green Bay Packers.
Give us the score prediction.
I mean, we got an hour show here, dude.
I think that they're gonna win.
Give us a score prediction.
Give me 27-24 walk-off Chad Ryland field goal from 48 yards out.
I'm going to kick you from 48 yards out.
I'm calling it. I think they win. I think this is what, and then we have another week where we're talking about, okay, let's see what this looks like. And then they go into Dallas. And I think that this team is still alive, although TBD on if that's actually going to be the case in 2 weeks from now, because I think they're going to win. And then, then eventually they lose. And here we go. They love sunshine and rainbows, Ben. Optimism, Ben. There you go. Jimmy, I'm taking it from you for one day.
Jamil's rubbing off on Ben. I think that's a good thing. I don't think it could ever be a bad thing. So the last time the Cardinals played the Packers was last year when it was one of the most embarrassing, embarrassing losses they had. I think that sparked the 4-game win streak, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the thing that woke them up, and then they won a bunch of games in a row against bad teams. And then it was the 7-0 turnaround with Rasul Douglas, who was on the Cardinals practice squad 2 weeks prior, and then intercepted the ball that stopped the Cardinals win streak. There was the Chase Edmonds win where he had 3 touchdowns, I think, in Green Bay years ago. And then there was the game in 2015 with the 2 Hail Marys from Aaron Rodgers.
You forgot about Josh Rosen beating Aaron Rodgers.
That was the year with Chase Edmonds, probably.
Oh, was it? Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Probably. Continue.
I think just had 3 touchdowns, 2 or 3. I think it was a Chase Edmonds game.
That was the game that got Mike McCarthy fired, basically.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a weird relationship with these teams, but the Packers have always won and the Cardinals have been bad. So I don't know. If the Cardinals win, that's great. Of course, it'll be brain melting.
That's what I'm saying. If the Cardinals can win this game, I'm not saying they can't. You asked for my prediction, though.
So just going off of what you asked me. Okay. So the Arizona Cardinals, this is what I remember last year. They started off 1-3. They beat the tar out of the Rams in that massive 41-10 game. They lost the Lions. They lost to the Commanders. They were facing a must-win game on the road. They went over and beat San Francisco. They were 2-3. Then Clancy is right. They lost 34-13. Then they beat the Chargers, Dolphins, Bears, Jets, and they were 6-4, and you thought better about them. But I mean, it's a better team, man. But like, I think you get an even more desperate Cardinals team. I don't think Sunday was a mirage. I think it was a little bit of a mirage, like meaning how well Jacoby Brissett played. But I think this system is going to fit Jacoby better than Kyler. I think there was a statistic out there, like Jacoby Brissett was under center 16 times. Kyler Murray's been under center like 17 times all year. So I think the Cardinals found what they want to do differently with a bigger quarterback. And I think that they come out and win this game, man. TBD on anything else. I'm not changing anything else, but they're desperate. They're at home. It's going to be 70-30 Packers fans, but 70% Packers fans is better than 100% at Lambeau Field. I think with a little adversity, they find a way to win this game. And then, God, dude, can you imagine what we're talking about on Monday? If Jacoby Brissett beats the Green Bay Packers,
I would love that. I would love it. I would love it.
Does Kyler Murray play? Does Kyler Murray play against the Cowboys?
No.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Clancy's going to say yes. I'm going to say no.
If you're going down with the ship, that means you're going down with Kyler Murray too.
Listen.
No. Let's hear it, Jamil. Let's freaking hear it.
If I'm going down with the ship and I just watch my quarterback have the game that he did against the Colts, and then we go and we get a win versus the Packers, I'm going to start that guy. I'm going to start that guy. After the bye week,
so bless your heart for that. You're thinking rationally. Okay, this is never a rational. Welcome to the Cardinals land.
Very true.
You've played in the NFL for competent franchises and Miami, and the Cardinals have been, not that. What I could pile on with Miami if he does. Like,
I love it. Yeah, you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get anything from me.
That, okay, the Cardinals are always their own worst enemy. Always. Now, this is a much more competent version of that. A much more functional and culturally, competent version of that. But ain't no way Kyler Murray's not starting no matter what when he's healthy. Like, I don't think there's a world that happens. Should it happen? Should he be benched? Wouldn't be original story. But, dude, unless they blow him out, unless they put up 40-plus points and everything, and Marv is 9 for 120, which we was on pace for last week. Like, Marv had 2 big chunk gains last week. Jamil, you're right. And you're completely wrong when it comes to this team for this specifically.
Yeah. I mean? It's too logical. I think, but I think Monty says if they go ahead and they beat the Packers, I think Monty says, hey, I want my guy in there.
Do you trade Kyler Murray then?
At that point,
if you're not going to start him,
I think you wait till the end of the season. You get the most.
But if you're not starting Kyler Murray when he's healthy, why is he on the team?
If you're not okay.
I believe in his contract. If he gets another bad injury, his I'm speculating. I've seen this before.
Well,
if he has another bad injury, I've seen it in there that if he has another bad injury, all of his money is guaranteed. Injury.
Well, he hasn't had a bad. Yeah, I don't know what aliens. I have no idea.
There it is. Where was that? Okay. Dang it. Sweet. His salary becomes fully guaranteed. Okay, Kyler's contract, his salary becomes fully guaranteed if he is unable to pass a physical due to an injury before a certain date in March. I got to find that. I got to find that.
Okay, so this is a foot injury. His leg didn't fall off. He'll be fine by then.
I was right though.
And he was going to play with the Cardinals. Yeah, I mean, we wasted like 4 minutes. He was going to play with the Cardinals, or he's going to play somewhere else, and it's going to be the same thing. He's like. The beauty of this is the cap hit's going to be the exact same thing. They wrote this in the contract for a reason. If you want to trade him, this is the year to trade him. And then another team will restructure and give him a couple extra years, and he'll be the franchise guy. Like,
he's going to be a New York Jet, dog.
Maybe.
Oh, man. Could you imagine the overpay that they'll send? Could you imagine a panicked Aaron Glenn looking for a guy? Woo!
You take Kyler Murray. Do you take
yes,
Breece Hall in a second for Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like,
I'd hold out.
Hold on, and everybody in the chat, relax. Like, I'm not saying this is going to happen, okay? But if what Jamil says rationally, if the Cardinals beat the Packers, and it's pretty convincing, okay, then they don't start Kyler Murray in week 9 when he's healthy. Trade him. Like at that point, you've given up on Kyler Murray, which I guess somewhat rightfully so, even though this is never going to happen. So, but that's the dominoes that will fall. If you sit him one game due to performance, healthy scratch, or QB2, there's no coming back from that ever.
Send him to New York.
Dude's talking about dumb franchises. The New York Jets, they would overpay. They would overpay for a quarterback.
They'll take
I mean,
Kyler
dude,
Murray.
I think they gave it. What was that?
They'll take Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah, dude. Especially a
heartbeat.
panicked head coach and Aaron Glenn that's looking for anything to save his job right now. If that dude goes 2-14, 2-15. Like, I don't know if he's keeping his job.
He won't be there long enough to go 2-14, 2-15. Like,
15, yeah.
He won't, but
interesting.
I don't know. And that's something we can talk about. We'll have plenty to talk about during the bye week next week.
Yeah.
If the Cardinals win this game, that could be the whole show next week.
Yeah.
Every angle.
Let's go, Jacoby.
Jamil's got him losing.
Jones, the old heads, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, God. How did we get here already? It's week freaking
2-4 against the
7,
Cardinals,
man.
bro. It's crazy.
Let's move. On Sunday, when the game is over, Clancy will immediately go live, do a 8 to 18 minute instant reaction on the show, and then 60 seconds, maybe 120 seconds, Clancy will join us. We'll go live directly after him, and we will talk about this team beating the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, and we'll be dissecting it. We'll have a full-blown quarterback controversy, or who knows, maybe Kyler walks out there fully healthy and just dominates the Packers, and it's business as usual. But with that being said, for everyone in the chat, AV Cardinals, my guy MB, Miles, Eris Juicin, I think that's his name. For everyone tuning in, Cameron, we appreciate you guys being here. Michael, Gingy name 1395. Appreciate all you guys being here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We will see you guys after the game on Sunday. For Jamil, for myself, for Clancy, we'll talk to you guys